Today on the LA Food Podcast, I'm your host Lucas Servodio, stocked up on popcorn, Takis, M&Ms, and more, because if you're not binging the bear this weekend, then do you even yes chef, bro? Today's episode actually won't focus on the exploits of Carmen Berzotto. That's coming next week. This episode is about a chef who's doing it IRL in just about the biggest, most impressive way possible. Santiago Lastra is the chef of Michelin-starred restaurant KOL in London. He visited LA on the heels of the world's 50 best ceremony in Las Vegas, where KOL was named the number 17 best restaurant in the world. He stopped by the City of Angels for a special collab dinner with Vespertine's Kahn, and I'm really honored he made time to grab lunch with me at Gilberto Cetina's Holbox, the 2023 LA Times Restaurant of the Year, located at Mercado La Paloma. This is a truly one-of-a-kind episode, dear listener. Chef Lastra tells us his frankly wild story from growing up in Cuernavaca, Mexico, to becoming known globally as a nomadic chef hosting pop-ups all over the world. He tells us about working with Rene Redzepi on Noma's famed pop-up in Tulum, how he developed his style as a chef who blends Mexican techniques and traditions with hyper-local ingredients, and he walks us through what a meal at KOL actually looks like. Personally, I was deeply moved by Santiago's passion and philosophy around food and hospitality. It was honestly the perfect blend of Carmi and Cousin, if you'll allow me a bear reference. Oh, and did I mention that Chef Gilberto Cetina was serving us lunch while we spoke? Chef Gilberto makes multiple cameos in the episode to chat with Santiago and to explain the incredible dishes he was bringing to the table. It was an outstanding meal, as meals at Holbox always are, and it was really cool for me to see these two powerhouse chefs exchange thoughts and ideas. I think you'll enjoy it too. But first, a little bit of housekeeping, so without further ado, let's chow down. Dear listener, I made a deal with my wife. She let me start a food podcast and eat ungodly amounts of noodles, pizza, sandwiches, and more under two conditions. One is that I never utter her name. The other is that I find ways to be healthy outside of my work in food. Being the fantastic partner I am, I found a few ways to up my health game. I exercise almost every day, I try to sneak in salads for lunch whenever I can, and I only ever snack on healthy foods. The macadamia nut has become an essential part of my daily routine, with the best omega 6:3 ratios in the nut game, 8 times better than pistachios and 20 times better than cashews. At houseofmacadamias.com, they've got a bunch of different macadamia products that you can enjoy, like savory and sweet snack packs and chocolate-covered snack bars. One of the problems with macadamias I've found is that they can be expensive, but I'm solving this for you, dear listener, because as of today, all you've got to do is head to houseofmacadamias.com and use code LAFOOD to get a 10% discount on a healthy snack that also happens to be delicious. So what are you waiting for? Head to www.houseofmacadamias.com/discount/LAFood and go nuts. Dear listener, we've got a hell of an episode for you today, and I know that I say that pretty much every time, but this time I genuinely mean it. This lunch with Chef Santiago Lastra at Holbox was one of the genuinely most special food experiences I probably have ever had, and there are a couple reasons for that. Number one, Chef Santiago is a renowned chef for a reason. I've never had his food, and by all accounts, it's absolutely incredible food. But what I think is really cool is that Chef Santiago has a really unique philosophy and sort of passion for food that really comes across in this conversation. Listening to his story, but also listening to sort of his approach and the way he views food, the way he views restaurants, the way he views a chef's role in it all. It was really, really inspiring, really, really compelling, and it's really clear why he is one of the world's most exciting chefs right now. The second reason why this was one of the best food experiences I've ever had is that we were having lunch at Holbox. I mean, Holbox is one of the best restaurants in Los Angeles, and to me, one of the most special food experiences you can have is to go to Holbox and have their omakase or tasting menu. If you haven't done it yet, seriously, I'm not sure what you're waiting for. It is absolutely incredible. And throughout this episode, you'll hear Chef Gilberto coming to the table, not just to chat with Chef Santiago and I, but also to explain the dishes that he's bringing to the table. And he really conveys just how much work goes into each and every one. And it's a truly, truly special meal anytime that you're eating at Holbox. And I'm not just saying that because Chef Gilberto was incredibly gracious in hosting us for lunch. I cannot be bought, dear listener. You know that. JK, I can totally be bought. But in this case, I am not being bought. Look, we're not going to be doing any newsy bits today. No news on the podcast today, and that's for a couple reasons. Number one, Father Saul is busy binging The Bear, and that is due to the fact that we will be doing a couple Bear specials on the podcast in the coming week. On Monday, we'll be dropping part 1, and next Friday, we'll be dropping part 2. So it'll be a pretty epic, Bear recap. We'll talk about season 3. We'll talk about, did the season live up to expectations? Was it an up season? Was it a down season? How do we feel about season 4? All of these questions will be answered in our recap. I haven't even started watching yet, so I've got my work cut out for me, but Father Saul has begun, and so far, the reviews are promising, I will say. So you're definitely going to want to tune into our recap, so make sure to mark that on your calendars or just pre-download the episode, whatever you got to do. The other reason we're not doing newsy bits today is because today also marks the launch of our LA Food Pod newsletter. It's called LA Food Stack because it's a Substack newsletter. Get it? Food Stack, Substack, you get it. It's a completely free newsletter. I'm not one of these people out there charging for a Substack newsletter. You can read it for free, dear listener. I've put it in the episode description, and I'll also be publishing it on social media at the LA Countdown. Essentially what it is a weekly curation of the best food headlines, the most essential food headlines in the nation, but through a Los Angeles lens. We'll be doing it once a week, and it's going to start out as that being the entire Substack. We'll probably be doing other things as well. For example, Father Saul really wants to write a think piece, I think he would call it, on the season of Top Chef gone by. There are always things that I want to write about, situations happening in Los Angeles or lists of the best things I've eaten, right? And this is going to be a place for that to live, but we will always be doing news on that newsletter. And I know that a lot of you really like when we talk about the news. So it doesn't mean we're going to stop talking about the news on the podcast. Not at all. We will continue talking about the news on the podcast. This is just another way for you to get more news, more links, more stories that we're finding interesting, so that our podcasts don't necessarily have to be 3 hours every week. That'll probably do for today, dear listener. I cannot wait for you to listen to the conversation with Chef Santiago. So without further ado, here it is. Joining us on the LA Food Podcast today, he's a Michelin-starred chef whose London-based Mexican restaurant KOL was just named number 17 on the 2024 list of the world's 50 best restaurants. It's Chef Santiago Lastra. Chef, how you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you. Very, very happy to be here in LA.
Chef, welcome to Los Angeles. You're not usually here.
No. It's my first time ever. Yeah.
First time to LA.
Yeah. But it's it feels right. It feels great. Yeah.
That's crazy.
I'm very happy.
Well, you just got in from Las Vegas, I believe, where you were celebrating the world's 50 best. How was it?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, with this thing, it's our third year in the list, and it's just, you never know, they put you in the room and they start this countdown that starts from the 50 and it starts going up, and it's just one of those things that you don't really think about it much until that moment where you're like, oh my God, you don't know what to expect, and my mom was watching, people were watching on, you can watch it online live. So my mom was watching from Mexico. Yeah, it's a live stream. Yeah, so it's like the Oscars of food kind of thing. And my mom was watching from Mexico. Our team was watching from from London, and it was like 5 in the morning. So everyone was just like having breakfast in the restaurant at 5 in the morning and watching it live. So yeah, it was good.
Is it the kind of thing where, because you guys were number 23 last year, right?
Yeah.
So is it the kind of thing where your team is watching, and it gets to number 23, and you don't see KOL, and then every single number after they're like, oh my god, how high up are we?
Exactly. I mean, like, for me, it's just about being part of it, like being part of the community, and the number, it's quite not such a big thing, but it's like, I think we all work really hard, and the team also has this. I mean, it's always good, to see the results of their work, and just the fact that that we have people that support us around the world. It's really flattering and exciting, but also it's fun, like, as you said, every number, like, also my business partners were like messaging me like, man, 22, what the fuck, so it was one of those moments.
That's so exciting, man. And then obviously you were in Las Vegas, so I hope you celebrated a little bit.
Yeah. Well, after that, we went out, and there was this after party in a beach club, and then after that we went to the bar in the casino, and we stay. No gambling, just having Negronis and a few gin and tonics until sunrise, which is a lot, but.
That's how you're supposed to do it.
Yeah.
No gambling at all, huh?
No gambling yesterday. No, I think. I had enough luck already used, so I just didn't want to.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So this is your first time to Los Angeles. What are your impressions so far?
There is something about Los Angeles that everyone is talking about around the world. I mean, I think it's always been super iconic because of, obviously, like Hollywood and the fashion world and everything. But I think now more and more people is talking about this food side of Los Angeles that is just exploding in an amazing way. And in London, in the restaurant in KOL, we have, like, some of our main regular guests are actually living in LA. and they go there, like, I don't know, like once a month or once every couple of months.
No way.
To London. Yeah, to London. They just love KOL, and I've been hearing tales about how amazing the food is in LA and how amazing Mexican food is here, and I just always wanted to come here, so yeah.
Well, we're about to enjoy some Mexican food. We are at the 2023 Los Angeles Times Restaurant of the Year, Holbox.
Wow.
It's a Yucatecan seafood, really, palace inside this gorgeous mercado. It's a community market that's been here for 20 years. It's one of those things where only in LA is the restaurant of the year, the LA Times Restaurant of the Year, in a mercado like this.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't expecting it. Like, I was just like, I was asking the Uber, like, where is the place? Where is this place? And he was like, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And I opened the door of the market, and you see this, like, place with all these awards and all these people and all this amazing food. So I'm really glad we are here.
It's really jarring when you walk into the mercado and then you see all the Michelin plaques.
Yeah, it's like, whoa, this place is serious,
That's cool. It's really cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward.
We'll let Chef Gilberto, friend of the pod, introduce himself when he comes on and explain the dishes that he's bringing to the table, of course. And I can't wait to hear your reaction to them. But you mentioned you had a pretty special meal last night.
Yeah, I went to the restaurant Vespertine, and it was unbelievable. It's like going to the future, It's like having, like, this dinner in this, like, I don't know, in like a Dune movie or something like that. It's just beautiful, super creative, super forward thinking, and also it has this kind of, like, really beautiful vibe into it. The ingredients are incredible, and the flavors, but also the presentations. Like, they work with different artists to create the music that they have that is, like, really tailored for the experience. All the crockery is also designed by them with different, like, sculptures, and it's a very, very interesting experience, but also delicious.
Yeah.
I highly recommend Vespertine. It's such an incredible place.
What was your favorite dish?
I think the one with the flowers. So it was one dish that was like a bowl that is completely covered with flowers, but in the edges. So so they kind of like grow into the plate all the way to the top, and it has an almond cream with peas and like a juice of pea pods as well. That it sounds, it's really simple, but also it looks stunning, and it was completely delicious. It was really cool.
That's cool. I love dishes that are like, you just told me the ingredients, and I'm like, that doesn't sound particularly delicious. Yeah. But when you put it all together and you make it work, that's really impressive.
It's one of those things that the chef really knows how to, like combine flavors that will not normally will be put in together, but in a great way that is super approachable, in a way that it's not like challenging flavors. It's like really delicious and inventive, also completely beautiful. And that's, for me, it's one of those things that we say in Mexico that from the side love is born or something like that. Like you kind of like you eat with your eyes, and you can fall in love first by watching beautiful food, That's
cool. Love at first sight, that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, chef is here. He comes bearing drinks. Chef, would you like to say hi to our listeners?
Hey everybody, how are you? Great to be on the podcast again, Luca. And very nice to meet you, Chef.
Nice to meet you.
Very excited about what you're doing here in Los Angeles. Super excited about the collaboration tomorrow at Meteora. Can't wait.
Very nice to meet you, man. I've heard amazing things about you or your place, and I'm very excited. I mean, like, you're always on like the top of the recommendations from people because I was saying that we get quite a lot of people from LA to come to the restaurant in London that they actually live here, and when we talk about food and stuff like that, they're like, oh my God, you should come to Holbox, like this. You always come up. So.
That's actually crazy to hear. I mean, it's amazing, and it makes me very, very happy. But I'm very surprised. It's crazy. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's to know that we have customers that support us all the way in the UK. So I'm going to be spending a lot of time in the UK in the next year or so.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my daughter is going to go to school in Brighton starting in September.
Sick.
So we're going to be traveling there a lot, and I don't know. I might hit you up one of these days.
But you have to. Yeah. Well, it's going to be an honor to have you there.
The food that you're doing looks absolutely amazing. I love the concept of doing food that is rooted in Mexican tradition, flavors, techniques with local ingredients, and knowing that a lot of the quintessential Mexican ingredients are not native to the UK. It must make for a really interesting iteration of Mexican food. I can't wait to try it.
Thank you. No, it's your home. Mi casa es tu casa,
Gracias. Por ahí nos vemos.
Amazing. Thank you.
Well, Chef mentioned that you're here for something special in Los Angeles. He mentioned Meteora. You were just talking about Chef Jordan Kahn.
Yeah.
You want to tell our listeners what you're here to do?
Yeah, so it's happening. It's happening tomorrow. It's been a long time coming, in a way that we've been dreaming about coming to LA and making something. And I've also been big fan of what Jordan has been doing for the last 5-6 years since he opened Vespertine for the first time. I met him in Paris the first time in this conference, and then I was like, oh my God, I really want to go there. And it was interesting because then we spoke about the idea of doing something here potentially, and he said that it was quite mutual, that we were both like kind of wondering if we could do something together, and finally it worked out now after Vegas, and we're really excited. We're doing a dinner tomorrow at Meteora. And we're doing 4 dishes, and they're doing we're doing 3 dishes. They're doing 3 dishes, and then we're doing a dish in collaboration that we kind of create together with Chef Jordan. And I cannot tell you how excited I am. It's just incredible. Yeah.
Well, by the time our listeners listen to this, the dinner will have already happened. So you can tell them. Can you tell them what dishes you're serving?
Yeah. Of course. So we are doing one that is tamal colado, and this is the one that is in collaboration. Tamales, tamales, that is the steam cake made with corn. So tamal colado is a very smooth version of the tamal. So it kind of feels like you're having like some sort of panna cotta of masa, and then on top we're gonna put some confit plantain, really thin slices of confit plantain that we confit in brown butter, and sea urchin. And some sunflower pretzels with a pig trotter and caramelized onions glaze, and then a little salsa with gooseberries. So it's like a gooseberry kind of green salsa that we're gonna have in the side, you know.
That's absolutely. As I said, you guys are making me hungry just just by the way you talk about food. I want to sort of dip back into your story because, as Chef Cetina just mentioned, you have a really interesting background that sort of informs how you cook. If I'm not mistaken, you're known as the quote-unquote nomadic chef.
Yeah.
But I understand your journey started in Cuernavaca.
Yes.
And it was not quite the traditional entry into cooking.
Yeah, it's funny because we were in the airport, my brother and I, in Vegas, and then it's like, what are you guys doing here? You know, like you have like, you know, you're Mexicans with Spanish passport living in London, in Vegas. That got to be a story, you know.
It's like a Guy Ritchie movie or something. Yeah.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, it is a story because at the end of the day, it's sometimes people just see the surface of like what is the result of like, okay, I don't know, awards and things like that, or what you even like cook on the restaurant on the day with the team and everything. But there is a background, and for us, well, for me in particular, I'm from Cuernavaca, that is 45 minutes south of Mexico, from Mexico City, and it's a place where really similar weather as LA. We were laughing yesterday with Jordan because we said that people is really like there in Cuernavaca. People is very specific with their terrace weather. You know, like if it's like 1 or 2 degrees less, it's just too cold to be outside. You know, and it's the same here, and it's very interesting because the weather is very similar. We call it the city of the eternal spring. And it's people have swimming pools in the houses and wearing flip-flops everywhere, and it's always with weather. And so I'm from there, and I started cooking when I was 15. So my mom and my dad didn't cook. I don't have like this romantic story of like, well, yeah, my mom, like my parents were like do like, I don't know, like tortellini while I was just like, you know, underneath the table, and it's more about like a quest. Yeah, so it was just like a really, I guess, just something random that happened, that I went to the supermarket and I saw this recipe of this Ritz cracker recipe in a Ritz cracker box. It was this recipe of a crab dip, and I was actually 14, and I decided to not go out that weekend, and use that money to buy some crab and some mayonnaise and celery and a little bit of jalapeno. And I just I don't know, it was just something that just, it kind of just like, it called me, you know. It's one of those things that you go, oh, just randomly I saw the box, I saw the recipe, and I was like, oh, maybe I can cook something, you know. And so I just bought the things, went back home, and I made it, and my mom liked it, and my dad liked it, and my brother and everyone, and they like it a lot, actually. It's interesting because later on I realized that it wasn't crab what I bought. I bought an already made crab dip. So I just put celery on a crab dip. That was like literally what I actually did. But in my eyes were like, oh my god, I'm such a great chef.
You're like, I made the best crab dip in the entire world. That
yeah. And everyone was so impressed. It was like, oh my god, you like this is incredible. And
they're
I was like, yeah,
Santiago, you have a real talent.
Yeah. And but that's what you need, you know. Like at the end of the day, and I think is that is something important to embrace. I don't know, like parents or like anyone really, that when someone is starting doing something, you should give good feedback, you know, and embrace them to be like, oh my god, like you can get there, you know, like. And I think something that my mom particularly had, that like confidence in a way to tell me like, you're gonna be great, you know, like this is great. And I was like, oh my god. So I went back to the supermarket and buy a little recipe booklet.
Yeah.
And I started doing different recipes. And then after that I started working in an Italian restaurant, and I kind of felt in the moment that I went to the restaurant that it was what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. Like I was like, this, like I cannot imagine anything else, like doing anything else. I wanted to be a mathematician, so I was in like different like math competitions and like actually winning different competitions in the whole like in the whole country. I want to be a mathematician. All my friends.
Whole of Mexico?
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
so
I was like a third place.
You could have been like Einstein, and here you are cooking?
Yes. I mean, like, probably. Yeah. I mean, like, I was obsessed with maths and like reading like books of like 500 or 600 or 800 pages of like equations and stuff like that. And
That's wild.
but then I went to this place and I saw like people making the pasta, making the bread, the pizzas, like clean, like literally like just cleaning and working together, and like the environment of like, you know, like there's like high pressure, but at the same time everyone's kind of working as a team and delivering something delicious and trying things that I never imagined to taste, you know, like because I didn't really grow up with food, and I didn't have the opportunity to go to good restaurants. So then in that moment when you eat your first gorgonzola cheese, you know, like it's like just like really like, I don't know, like just use things that you probably can't eat if you're like more like educated in food. But then for me it was like, oh my God, like what is this? You know, it's a whole world of flavors and something that I just didn't feel that it was a job. Like I was there until like, I don't know, like super late, like 1 a.m, just like sweeping the floor, like, and like sweating. I was like, oh my God, like this is just, I don't want to leave, you know, like people, it's like if you're a kid and you're playing a video game and you get your first video game, you don't want to stop playing the video game. Like your parents, they need to go, like you have to stop, you know, like you have to regulate how much can you play.
Yeah.
And for me, cooking and being in the kitchen is that, you know, like it's just something that is just truly unique.
It's funny. There's that really overused saying that if you find something you like, you never work a day in your life. It sounds like you literally just stumbled upon that because of a Ritz cracker box.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not sponsored by Ritz crackers, you know. I should.
Not yet.
Not yet. But it's. But yeah, I mean, like, the thing is that you have to be aware. You have to have some sort of awareness and be quite intuitive about what you like, and that was really just like a revelation moment. And then I was cooking, like it was quite a sad moment that my dad and my granddad and my grandma, they passed away in the same month when I was 15, and then. So then I didn't go back to like school for a while, and I was going back to the restaurant, bringing home food and pasta and like some wine and some bread to my mom and my brother. And I remember like just watching them from the kitchen, and they were just like really happy eating that meal with all these flavors and all these like really great pasta shapes and sauces that I learned how to do in the restaurant that they never tried before, and they were so happy. So I thought, if I can do them happy in such a sad moment, I want to do this for everyone. Like I wanna make everyone have a great time, and I wanna try to be the best at it and dedicate my life to it. And that was kind of like, I think it's like one of those things that you're like in that. I remember like that image of them eating, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do that. I'm gonna do it forever, and I'm gonna try to do it the best. And then here we are, you know, like after 18 years after that, you know, like I've been cooking in restaurants for 18 years, traveling and cooking for like, you know, like so many places, and so.
That's a beautiful story, man.
Yeah.
Because this all happened while you were in Mexico, but I understand that your sort of like formative culinary education and experiences really happened elsewhere, right?
Yes. Yeah, so I was in like, you know, just like in school and finishing school like at 2 p.m. and then going to the restaurant at 3 p.m. and finishing at 12:01 for 2.5 years until I finished high school. And then after that I got a job in Mexico City in a restaurant for like 6 months. And I got the opportunity to move to Spain and work in a restaurant, Michelin-starred restaurant called Europa, northern Spanish cuisine for a year. And then after that, I was trying to chase innovation. So I will be like, okay, well, what's the new thing? And they will be like, no, French cuisine is the new thing. So I'll move to Paris, try to work in different places. And then they were like, no, actually, the new thing is not French food anymore, it's Spanish food, you know. So it's like this molecular gastronomy of El Bulli and stuff like that. So I went to Spain, I work in a place called Mugaritz that it was like third best restaurant in the world at the time.
Yeah.
And then after that, I was like, they were like, no, like Spanish cuisine is not the new thing. It's new Nordic cuisine in Denmark. So I moved to Copenhagen, and then they were like, no, actually, new Nordic cuisine is not the new thing. The new thing is Mexican food, like Latin American food. You know? So it's like the thing is that you try to chase innovation, but in the moment that you know what's new, it's old.
It's old.
You know, so then the only way to be able to like touch it, or even like just have a hint of what is really new.
Yeah.
You have to try to figure out yourself. And so then I started doing pop-ups and events around the world. First in Copenhagen, I just like have like some time off, and with a friend of mine in Sweden, actually, we went there and make this that it will be the first time that we will cook some sort of Mexican inspiration and Swedish ingredients in the winter. Which sounds really bad, but
yeah, but I'm sure you found a way to make it good, because you didn't really cook Mexican food before that, right?
No, I didn't. I mean, like I studied like in between all these things going on. I studied culinary school in Mexico, but the training was really French. Like I trained, like and like a little bit more like traditional and focused on like world cuisine and admin and stuff like that. And I studied 3 years there, a great school called Culinario Coronado, and they teach you a little bit of Mexican food. And then I moved to Spain to do like a master degree in like culinary innovation.
Yeah.
In the Basque Culinary Center, but that wasn't as well Mexican. So that you're right, like it was that moment that when I was in Copenhagen that they were like, actually, it's great that you're here, because we want you to bring a little bit of your culture to our ingredients. And I was like, wow, is that something that can be done? Because for so many years I refused to make Mexican food outside of Mexico because of the ingredients. So I couldn't get any ingredients in Spain or in anywhere. And I thought that Mexican food was all about the ingredients.
Yeah, masa.
Yeah, like just like very simple things like tomatillo.
Yeah.
Or like really great limes or avocado or like... And even fruits like mango.
You're telling me the avocados in Denmark aren't good?
I mean, they just don't. Like that's the thing. Like you just can't find these things, and if you find them, they are okay, but it's not. It just doesn't taste right.
Yeah.
And so then I was So then I was struggling to that, but then we did this dinner in Sweden, and the idea was I'm gonna bring the inspiration of Mexican food, but apply it to whatever is in season in Sweden. But then that happened because we were in the train. Mm-hmm. I sent my friend a list of Mexican ingredients, and he was like, oh, by the way, we couldn't get any of your ingredients. And I was like, well, but the dinner is in 2 days. What are we going to do? And then he was like, I don't know, maybe let's just try to find replacements. And then I was like, okay. So then I was thinking on the train, I was like, okay, well, maybe we can get pistachios and blend it with some like, I don't know, like some gooseberry juice and some horseradish to make some sort of guacamole, and things like that. And then it was like a really really early days version of the cuisine that I do now. But that was like the first time that was like, okay, well, we don't have the ingredients. We have a challenge. We have people that actually flew over from like London, Berlin, like for this pop-up in the middle of nowhere. And I had no experience. My first dinner, it better be good, And but then it was a success. It was a big success. Also, it was this part of like this moment where the new Nordic cuisine was like on its peak. So some people saw it in social media, and they invited me to go to London to make the same concept. They're like, oh, I hear you guys doing this like Nordic Mexican food. Maybe you can come to London. And I was like, yeah, sure.
You're like, I just came up with this on a train.
Yeah, exactly.
Now we're in London.
Yeah, exactly. And I was literally like 3 months after. In London, I was 25, and I was doing this dinner with a full house place and like a wait list, fully booked, and then I was like, yeah, well, we because we are in London, I'm using UK ingredients and Mexican inspiration, and then after that they invite me to go to Italy, and then after that they invite me to go to like Hong Kong.
Wait, and every place you would be making Mexican food with ingredients of that place.
Yeah. So that was the idea.
What did you do in Italy?
So in Italy, like for example, we would do like we have like this burrata, but then we will put like a mole, like mole with a burrata instead of the queso fresco. So then the thing is that the more that I travel, the more that I will learn. And then, well, like in Italy was one of the dinners that we did was in this castle, but it's like old school castle. It wasn't like a fancy castle, just old school.
Just like a shitty castle.
Yeah,
A little shitty castle,
like an entry level castle in close to Venice. And the idea was, okay, I'll come here with a bag of chilies, and then I will create the whole menu with the local ingredients from the farm and the castle. So then I will take like, I don't know, like they have like this preserved meat, and I would just like cut it really thinly and like mix it with the chilies and make like a tostada with like a cheese cracker. And so then it's about like spending the time. Like before, I will spend a lot of time visiting the markets, spending time in different restaurants, and then at the end it will be like some sort of like art residency that the artist will like stay in place, absorb, get inspired, and then they will present an exhibition. And then the exhibition was the dinners. Like in Taiwan, for example, I was there 3 weeks before the dinner. And then, okay, well, they have these different types of sweet potatoes and different types of they did have different types of corn. And then we went to the fish market. And then we create this menu that it was like really fresh with like a coconut ceviche and like a coconut aguachile. Like a coconut leche de tigre, like super like using different varieties and different ripeness of the coconut to do the dish with like slices of squid. And then same with like everywhere that I went, you know. And then I didn't have a website, I didn't have a PR company, I didn't have a social media manager. It was just me and Instagram.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it. And it was 2016, and it was just that, like just like waiting for a message in Instagram of someone that will be like, oh man, I think what you do is something really cool. Maybe you want to come. And sometimes they didn't message me, and I will have to be stuck in a hostel, like having one meal a day, just like waiting and posting things. You know, like I think the idea was like, okay, well, you have to post, you have to tag, so then people will see what's going on, follow specific places that they do these kind of things. And it was a new thing. Like pop-ups were not a big thing back in the days. So in a way it was good because I will get more opportunities, but in a way it wasn't good because no one was doing it at the moment. So it was but it was good. I mean, like I didn't live anywhere. I didn't have a place to live. I was just have my suitcase, and I will buy chilies, dry chilies anywhere that I was. Yeah, exactly. When I was like in a city that they have chilies, I will buy loads.
Stock loads.
Yeah, and I just like stock in the suitcase and just travel the world. And sometimes it will have to. Sometimes I will get paid. Sometimes I will not get paid. And my rent was these flight tickets. Sometimes that the places that will be like, okay, well, I can give you accommodation for 2 weeks, but we cannot pay your flight. Yeah. So I was like, okay, cool. So then I will use that to pay flights and just keep going. And at the end, we went like 27 countries. Yeah. So it was
how long
so
did
crazy.
you do this for?
It was around 2.5 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So just going everywhere, and from Russia to Taiwan to Portugal, Germany. Like everywhere in Europe and the UK and everything. Yeah, so it was good. It was a cool thing. Sometimes I have, like at the beginning it was complicated, but then as soon as it started, then I realized that you could do more than one pop-up in the same city if you will have a gap of 6 months. So then I was in Paris doing a pop-up, and then I was like, then someone in the dining room will be like, oh my God, you should come back.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'll be like, yeah, I'll come back in 6 months. And then when the 6 months came, then I have an agenda where I will do like sometimes I will be like in 5 countries in a week.
Wow.
Like just doing like 2, 3, 4 different events. I don't know, like a dinner in Italy, and then like a festival in London, and then I'll have to go to Portugal to do like a cooking class, and so it was like a really crazy thing. Yeah.
Your air miles must have been insane.
It was insane. Yeah, it was insane. Like I actually was afraid of flying. Like in that time. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I had this like crazy anxiety when I was in the plane. I was like difficult to breathe. But then after all these flights, now I'm like easy. You know, like it one of those things that you're afraid of something, you just need to do it.
Just do it.
Yeah. Just do it 100 times and then it'll be fine, you know? Yeah.
So you're doing this, and I understand that at some point you get the really unique opportunity to help Rene Redzepi do something pretty cool back in Mexico.
Yeah. So then exactly that's what happened. So I was doing this consultation in St. Petersburg, and then they
doing what?
a consultation, like a consultancy. Yeah, consultancy.
Just like random restaurant.
Yeah. So like it's a restaurant group, like big restaurant group. So I think they were doing like food for 7,000 people every weekend. And they wanted to have like a Mexican festival, like 10 dishes. And I was there with a translator and like 12, 14 different executive chefs that they were all like over 50. And looking at me and like, and I was just doing that. And then while I get a text from Rocio Sanchez, and she told me, okay, are you in Copenhagen? Because Rene Redzepi wants to meet you, you know? And I was like...
That's like the call from The Godfather.
Yeah, no. I was like... Yes, you know, I said that I was there.
And you were in Russia.
I wasn't. Yeah, and I just quit straight away. Like I have some family problems. Sorry, I have to leave. That's what I said. I just took I took a taxi to the airport, and next day I was in Copenhagen. Well, the same day, but the next day I was in Copenhagen having tacos actually in Hija Sanchez with Rene, and the first time that I met him, and then he talked me about this idea of Noma Mexico, and he said to me like, man, like, okay, well, there's a lot of people that they've been recommending you from different parts of the world. Like, it's just like your name came up with friends that we have in this country and this city and this city and this country and this country. So then we had to meet you, you know, like, who are you, you know? And
that really is only happening because you are doing this nomadic lifestyle.
Yeah. So I was just like this Mexican chef that was just bouncing around the world. And he knew about it. And he explained me the job that it will be to organize all the research trips, make all the deals with the suppliers and the producers of food, but also crockery, and work with the farmers and indigenous farmers to grow vegetables for them, and organize all the logistics to get food and ingredients from the whole country to the jungle and set up the restaurant in the jungle. And I was like, man, like, I'm sorry, but I think I'm not the right person. Like, yeah, that's what I said to him. Like, straight away, I was like, man, like, I don't have any experience doing that. Like, I don't know Mexico. Like, I've been out of Mexico. In that time, I was out of Mexico for 7 years. I haven't been in Mexico for 4 years. Like, I at that moment, I didn't see my mom in like 4 years and a half, or like my brother. So I told him, like, I never made a deal with a producer. I never ordered fish, you know, like, so, and I just don't know Mexico, you know. I knew the beach, and I knew Mexico City, but, so I put it out there, you know. I think it's very important to be honest before you say, like, yeah, sure, man, and then, do it, and then suddenly they realize that you're unprepared, you know, and underqualified. And then he kind of smiled and told me, like, you know what, if you want to do this, we can discover Mexico together, you know. We can learn together, you know. But just tell me if you want to do it, you know. And he said, I'm gonna write you a contract, and I'm gonna write it myself, and it's gonna take me a couple of days, and then you have to answer me, send an email back, and tell me if you want to do this and you believe you can do this, you know. And I will never forget that moment, you know. Like, he's so he's just, I mean, for me it was like, oh my god, like, yeah, like you're having like tacos with the Godfather, you know. And and then I was just like, oh my god, okay. So I went out that night, and I was just having like, I don't know, like beers, and then he sent me an email after 2 days, like at 1 a.m, and he said that like the contract said this like title of like researcher of ingredient. Like, this is, I think I have the contract somewhere, but it was just such a long name, like, you know, like it's a big role, you know. It was a big role, and a lot of responsibility, but also a big honor, you know. Like, for me, like, I thought if it goes bad, it's gonna go really bad, and it probably will destroy my career. But if it goes well, I can be in the other side, you know, like I can do it, and I bet it all. Like I gave everything that I could. I lost 10 kilos, and my girlfriend at the time.
You don't have 10 kilos to lose.
I was a little bit more chubbier, you know, and but the thing is that it was just one of those things that it really changed my life. And I mean, like, I actually spoke with Rene yesterday to thank him, you know, as well, because it's just all the support that he and the Noma team had with me was amazing, because I could really discover Mexico. We did, like, in 2 weeks after I got the job, I was organizing a research trip for 8 states in Mexico, and then we did like so many trips with Rene and their R&D team, and my job was to give them Mexico, like to like make them understand and be exposed to different situations where they could learn about ingredients, where they could visit indigenous villages, markets, restaurants, and just go to the roots of what really Mexican gastronomy is for them. You know, it wasn't for me, it was for them. And they will tell me like, oh, we like this ingredient, or we like this technique, or we want to go here and stuff like that. And they're super smart. And it was, at the end of the day, I think, like, some people call them like the meal of the century or something like that. Like, it was just incredible. We have like thousands and thousands of people in the wait list, and
there's like a documentary about it, right?
There is everything. Like loads of articles, and people will travel from Japan to eat there and then go back to Japan the next day. It really put Mexico and Mexican gastronomy in the map of really high quality, that like Mexican traditions was something that is been overlooked and underappreciated around the world, and even in Mexico as well. But after that, I think it's like before and after that event that really made the world look into Mexico, say like, wow, that's hard to make though. Like that's high quality right there in terms of having like the right corn to make the masa, having the ladies doing the tortillas, and all these varieties of ingredients that we have and preparations that are super elegant. Like, think Mexican food can be really elegant when you see it with the different eyes. So then after that, I was like,
did this for how long was the
it's like it was like the pop-up was 7 weeks, but I worked on that for like almost a year and a half.
Wow.
Like a year to set it up, and then the 7 weeks, and then it was more time to like, you know, like closing down, and you know, and then I remember that Rene asked me, like, when we were like at the very end, because it was just so hard to make, so hard to do, you know. And then when we were very end, it was like, man, I'm so thankful. Like, just tell me what would you like to do, you know? And it's like you have like the genie, you know, like, and they just like ask you like, what do you want, you know, in this world? And I was like, I don't know, like I didn't know what to do. I wait until the pop-up ended, and I stay in Tulum for a month or something. And I was just going to the beach and like working out and eating a little bit. and then I just realized that I wanted to open a restaurant outside in a country around the world, that I could keep going with this thing. That I thought that it would be a shame to lose that edge of and that wave of putting Mexico in the quality map in the world. For me, it was more of I wanted to open a research center in Mexico. That was my dream. I had this goal. I'm going to be out of Mexico for 5 years, understand what people like and what they don't like, learn as much as possible, and then go back to Mexico and make research. And but then when Noma, like, they got on the way with this idea, and I started working with them, and the time was the time of these 5 years were like expired now in that moment. But then I was like, maybe I don't want to make research. Maybe I want to open a restaurant. Because a restaurant is a very stressful business, very stressful thing to do. Like, I didn't want to have like this stress. But I was there, and I remember to watch the team and like also see the impact that it had with the community and the growers and everyone. Like, it has a cultural impact, a community impact. And just in general, you're bringing something to the world that it doesn't exist. Not only on the dishes, but also to build a community from scratch. And I just really want to do that. And I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna give it a go. If I can have a place where people is at least 5% as proud as these guys that are here working and creating all these amazing things, and I can represent Mexico, I'm gonna give it a go. And I just moved to London, like without really knowing anyone.
So how much of that was also maybe inspired by that image you had of your mom and your brother eating the food, you know, the Italian food that you brought home when you were 15 years old?
I think it's still, I mean, like, it's still like part of the DNA of what it's all about, you know. And I say that to the staff, the team as well that we have in KOL, that is, it doesn't matter how interesting the things that we are, that we do are. What it matters is that people have a great time, and it's hard. It's hard to care about every single individual as much as you can, and absorb it as much as you can, and to be able to replicate or express that experience of someone eating in your house.
Yeah.
But that's the goal. You know, at the end of the day, if you invite like friends over to your house to have dinner, and they are, I don't know, like 2 people or 4 people, you know what they like. You know their names. You know what they like. They know you. You're cook with love. You know, like okay, well, I'm gonna share this to people because I have this recipe that I found, or because I would love to do something like that.
I think we may be interrupted here, sir.
Right.
What do we have here?
So this is one of our tostadas that we do here. Is the tostada underneath is a house-made tostada raspada. So we make these. We start off with the corn. We nixtamalize it here in house. Chef Fati does that for us. She's amazing. Then we grind that into masa, and then we make the raspada, hand-pressed tortilla, cooking only one side, leaving the other side raw. Then we put it on the metate and scrape off the masa that was left raw on top to thin it out and also expose the inside, which is to be dehydrated in the next step. Now, traditionally in Mexico, they would sun dry these, but unfortunately there's health departments here, so we can't do that. So we pop them in the dehydrator overnight and then fry them. And then they take on this almost crackly-like consistency, almost like a little bit like a chicharron, not like a clean snap, but more of a little bit of a puff. On top of that, we have a pate de cabeza de pescado. So it's a pate that we make with the heads of our Baja California campachi. There's also some herbs, aromatics, toasted pistachios, and on top of that, sliced raw scallops. These happen to be Hokkaido. Sometimes they're domestic. Little oil from our almond salsa matcha. I think that's it.
Wow.
Oh, that's it? That's all?
Amazing.
Thanks, Chef.
Thank you so much. It looks amazing.
So this dish takes a ton of time to make. That tostada raspada is like a 3-day process or something.
Yeah, it's interesting because in Mexico we have different preparations with corn. And it's like you having pasta in Italy. You will have different shapes. But then the question is why these people take so much time to do this specific shape. You know, like why you just don't do just spaghetti and that's it. You know, like what you need to cut it and roll it and use the fork to get these edges, and or maybe add potato mash to it. Like why you know? And it's all about texture. You know, the texture makes the dish. You know, like it's not the same to have like a fettuccine than having a spaghetti or a linguine. It's gonna feel different, but it's the same ingredients, the same thing. So with masa preparations is the same. So if it's a tortilla, it's not the same as if it's a sope, or if it's a tostada, or a raspada, or a totopo, or if it's the tostada is deep fried from raw, from like raw masa, or if you make a tortilla and fry it, or make a tortilla and bake it, or a tortilla that has more water. That's interesting because depends on how much water do you put in the masa. The result that you're gonna have. In Oaxaca, you have this tlayudas that is also really wet masa that is really big, and you don't puff it, you just cook it 2 sides, as he said here, and then you dry them on the comal. So in the case of the raspada, it's interesting because it's from Jalisco, where the tequila is from and everything. And this one, it's just incredible because, and it's like, why are they doing all this work? You know, like you could just like fry it, but then no, they cook in 2 sides, They put it, as you said, in the metate, and then with like a stone. The metate is like a molcajete, like a mortar, but flat, made with volcanic rock. And then they have this like a stick made also with volcanic rock, and they scrape it. So that's why it's called raspada, because it's scraped.
Raspada.
And then you take the top of it, so then you end up with the exposed bottom, that it has some sort of very specific looking texture. But then that specific texture, when you dry it and then you fry it, it will give a different experience in your mouth when you eat it.
Yeah.
Which is just one of those things that when you go there to Guadalajara, and I remember one of the first research trips that I made, that I was there in Jalisco, they serve you the tostadas, the raspadas with guacamole, and you're like, this is just not normal tostada. What you did to it? And then you start, it's whatever, it's the same. But you have to really ask to really go through the process to understand. But then also the amount of water that you put in the masa for when you make the tostada is crucial.
Yeah.
Because if it's too dry, it will be too tight. Mm-hmm. So it's a very interesting preparation.
Well,
so, yeah.
Hey, bon appetit.
Cheers.
Or cheers. We just cheers with tostada raspada.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear what you think.
No, the texture is very interesting because it's really light.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's been scraped, it has less masa than a tostada. So then that means that the corn flavor is going to be less overpowering. Because that is what, when you're making Mexican food, and when you are working in something that is a bit more fine dining, more refined, is your enemy. Your enemy is the overpowering of the flavor of the corn.
Yeah.
Because people in Mexico, obviously, that we are used to flavor of the corn, but places like in England, people are not used to that flavor.
Yeah.
So if you have a full-on double layer tostada, and you have the scallops on top and the cream and the fish and everything, when you eat it, you will get hit with more corn flavor.
Yeah.
So with this one, because you scrape it, you have more of a delicate texture and delicate flavor. So it makes it more elegant, I think.
Yeah. What I'm getting to, and I don't know if this is what this is a factor of, although I'm lucky to be in the presence of someone who will probably know. It also has a very toasted flavor. Mm-hmm. It adds a little bit of that sort of almost slight hint of bitterness that you get when you toast bread or something.
Yes, exactly, like a crouton.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
100%.
it really rounds out.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the sweetness, obviously, of the scallop. There's the beautiful chili, too.
Yeah.
But there's that slight toastiness, which works really nicely with the scallop.
It's also quite cool that he does a pate with the fish as well. Because normally underneath you will put maybe guacamole or creme fraiche or something like that. So this is an interesting thing because it's not a traditional dish, that, and that is something that I guess we share some sort of similarities in approach, because he's obviously here in LA. He's using more a bit more modern techniques to add the creaminess that you need, because the tostada, the raspadas or the tostadas normally will have a cream underneath whatever it is.
Yeah.
In Yucatan they use pumpkin seed cream, and other places they will use guacamole or other thing that it will be creamy.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to have the fish,
Yeah. One thing that really jumps out at me, based on hearing your story, the passion with which you're speaking right now about very deep-cut Mexican things, Mexican cuisine things, is it seems like the experience of helming the pop-up in Tulum for Noma seemed to maybe awaken a renewed passion in you for Mexican ingredients and techniques and traditions, which is really funny as someone who was always chasing what was new and what was exciting. It's funny that you eventually went back to what was old.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I guess it's one of those things about kind of maturity in a way of your craft, that the less that you know, the more that you think you know.
Yeah.
And for me, it wasn't. I mean, it was exactly that. I do remember, and I ashamed of myself of thinking that I knew so much, where I didn't. But I think what it makes a difference is to accept that the fact that you don't, to retrain yourself to be open to learn new things. And I think the capability of learning when you're a little bit older, it's one of the most powerful things that you can do, you know. And I think, for example, the chef here that is self-taught, and he had another profession before, that is a good example of, like, it's not skipping. You're not skipping some sort of career. It's like you're stepping in this craft when you are more mature, so you can learn more. Like, you can learn not more, but like your understanding, it's more mature, you know. So you can evolve faster in a way because you have this ability and this willing to really learn.
Yeah.
And that is a skill that I didn't really have until I was traveling with Rene, because I understood that. Because you will think like, what, the best chef in the world and the best restaurant in the world in 5 years, they don't need to learn anything else.
Yeah.
You know, you will say like, okay, well, these guys are the best. But you can see how they put themselves in a position, the way that they approach things, that try to forget for a second everything you know.
Yeah.
And eat this mango, you know, and then everything else will come naturally. But then I think that ability that he has to do that, and I think Rene has this big skill of that. It really marked me, you know. Like, it wasn't really as much the fact of learning the recipes or like working in the kitchen in Noma. It was more the conversations and the fact of spending time with the R&D team and with Rene, of like understanding how to see things with different eyes.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, otherwise you cannot do new things, or you can't see things with a different perspective.
Yeah.
If you have such a heavy weight of the tradition and stuff like that. So yes, you go back to tradition, but you see it with a different eyes, like with a new fresh pair of eyes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is what I do now as well in London, you know, with the local ingredients there. That, like, some people will think like, okay, well, that's just a piece of celeriac, or that's just, I don't know, things that are a little bit more unknown, like pineapple weed or Alexander's or nettles. That are things that are like more like just things that they've been eating there as just like traditional things. But you take nettles and mix them with whey, it tastes like this amazing fresh tomatillo salsa.
Really?
Yeah, and it's like, what? You know, like,
how do you even figure that out?
It's just a lot of trial and error, to be honest. You know, like when I moved to London again after Tulum, I had like 4,000 euros saved, and that was all my savings.
Yeah.
And then I just moved there, no job, no connections, nothing. Rent a little room somewhere in the south of London, and then it's like, okay, well, let's map this out. Like, let's do the research and where are we gonna go? You know, like, I literally just find in YouTube a video of the map of the UK and try to understand, okay, well, where the scallops are from, and like messaging all the chefs in Instagram, like, hey man, just move here. I would like to have a coffee with you, speak about the ingredients. And that was the first thing. Like, the first one was like, where things are coming from in this country, and then taking a train to Wales and stay there for 2 weeks, and go to Scotland, stay there for a month, and like literally in like hostels, and like just backpacking around the UK and spending time with foragers and with producers and with cider makers and with cheese makers and all these things, and just there, like, we just like, again, like, just try to forget everything you know, and get fresh again, and just not rush it. I spent all my money in like 2 months.
And how long was it?
Just so expensive.
Of course, traveling around the UK.
Yeah. It's just exactly. But then I had the contacts for my trips and my pop-ups before, so I was doing like one pop-up like around the world, and you know, like, that will like help me to keep going. And then after a year of research, I was ready to start cooking.
Yeah.
So then I literally didn't cook any recipes. I didn't do any events for almost a year in the UK. It was just learning
Research.
and like kind of like imagining things because I couldn't really afford to buy ingredients to cook. Like impossible. Like my food was like going to the supermarket and buy some ham. And if I was lucky, I would buy cheese as well. But just like sometimes just ham, just eat ham for a day.
So ironic.
Yeah, it was
a guy who serves the highest quality food to everybody was subsiding off of ham.
Because the thing is that when you don't have any money and you don't have a job, what you're gonna do, you know? But you have a dream, you know. That's important. I think that's the most important thing to say. Like, it doesn't matter how beaten up you feel and like how like okay, oh my God, I've been working in the best restaurant in the world, and I organized this like international pop-up, and I've been working as a chef for I don't know like 12 years or something. Why I cannot really afford to do anything, you know, or eat anything, you know, like. But then the next day you wake up and you're like, actually, it's worth it because we're learning, you know. Like I think that was one of the things that are like, I need to learn something every day. Otherwise, it's not worth it. Otherwise, I just go somewhere else, get a job. If I'm doing this every day, I need to learn something. Like something about marketing, something about PR in the UK, something about areas, like what is the area for the restaurant, something about ingredients, you know, like or like maybe imagine a dish. You know, like it sounds crazy, but I will not buy the ingredients to cook because I couldn't really afford that. So I'll imagine. So it's like, okay, well, let's imagine this. And then you write it down. Let's imagine this. And then you write it down and you try in your mind, you know, like, and you visualize it.
So you're visualizing recipes in your mind as you are experiencing all these new ingredients and traveling around.
Yeah, exactly. And then suddenly, like after when I thought that the things were like good enough, I said, okay, now with the contacts that I have, I'm gonna say yes to do a pop-up, right? So that was like ready, and then I started doing, because I was like really, I mean, like I wasn't like famous or anything, but people will know that I work in Noma and I was doing all these pop-ups. So I had opportunities,
you had a reputation.
but I rejected them because I didn't wanna do something that wasn't good enough. That will damage that little reputation that I had. So I wanted to be really sure that the concept was ready. So I started getting the opportunities. I would say like, okay, well, let's do it. So then like I just click the button of like, let's go.
Yeah.
And I will get these ideas and send ingredients from the restaurant, and they will buy them for me, and I will cook them. And I start doing pop-ups in London. And the strategy was, when I do these pop-ups, people is gonna know me more, and then I will get inquiries to open my own restaurant. You know, so that was the master plan.
The strategy.
The strategy. You have to have a strategy, you know. And then I started realizing that a lot of chefs were moving to London to open their own restaurant, and I wasn't the only one.
Yeah.
I realized that I wasn't the one with the original idea.
It's a good idea for a reason.
Everybody's
doing it.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Like I realized, and I started meeting chefs that they're like, yeah, well, I've been here for 7 years and haven't opened my restaurant. I've been here for 10 years. I gave up. I started hearing people saying that they moved there because they wanted to do it, but it didn't work out. I was like, damn, I need to get it done, you know. But then I started getting the like meetings with potential investors and stuff.
Chef is back.
Oh,
sorry.
Sea urchin.
Interrupting one more time.
Oh no, you can interrupt as many times as you want, Chef.
All right, so this is going to be one of the most iconic Southern California ingredients, are Santa Barbara sea urchin.
Wow.
These beauties are from Sea Stephanie fish, and basically we just cracked them open and we made a little Baja California bay scallop ceviche, went inside the urchin shell and then topped it with the uni of the sea urchin. A little cucumber avocado puree. That's it. Yeah. Super simple.
Stoked.
Wow.
Super simple, he says.
It's beautiful, man. Beautiful. Wow. It's my favorite, the sea urchin, you know.
I just gotta say, you can't see this, dear listener, but Chef Lastra right now is taking pictures of his food, which I appreciate. I assume it's not because he's gonna post it on Instagram. I have a feeling it's because he's always researching based on what we hear.
Yeah, I think both, you know. Yeah, but it's one of those things, you know, that you get inspiration from anywhere, you know. And obviously here, this place, as I was saying to the chef, it's been recommended by so many people. And so I really wanted to try the food, you know.
Yeah.
I'm very excited.
Yeah, what I love about Chef Gilberto's approach is he really does like prioritize his suppliers. He just finds the freshest suppliers, and he has this real dedication to how can I just showcase these ingredients, these beautiful products in the best way possible.
Yeah.
Obviously he loves to showcase and respect traditional Yucatecan tradition, but what really comes through is like respect for ingredients a lot of time. Like this dish is just,
It's incredible.
the sea urchin it's like pudding.
Yeah.
It's so sweet.
It's like having like the most amazing sweet, kind of like creamy egg yolk sauce,
Yeah.
and scallops with the pico de gallo. It's and also it doesn't have like, interesting thing is that it doesn't have like overpowering acidity as well. So he decided to keep it very clean,
Yeah.
which I really appreciate.
Yeah.
Because like that you can taste every element of the dish.
Yeah, there's a good, I believe the official word is restraint. When I hear food reviewers talk about it, it's restraint.
Yeah.
And by the way, next time you're in Southern California,
Wow.
Santa Barbara
Yeah.
has got to be one of your trips because that is a beautiful, beautiful place too.
It's in top of my list.
Yeah.
Top of my list.
I want to hear about, so you're like, I have this fire under my ass now because I see everybody's moving to London.
Yeah.
I got to get going on opening this restaurant. How did that finally come together?
I guess it's one of those things as well that helps a lot. That is to have some sort of like visualize success in a way. You know, like trying to really be certain that things are gonna happen. And I think that's something that it might sound a bit tacky, but it's for me it's been something that has been helping me quite a lot. And I thought about that the right people, that we'll find the right people, we're working with the right people. And try to think about that at least 5 minutes every day. Just like 5 minutes, wake up, and before like anything else, just like thinking, I found the right partners, I found the right people, we opened the restaurant, you know, and just repeat that for
That's
5
not
minutes.
tacky
It's
at all.
hard, yeah, but
I was just reading an article about Jude Bellingham, the soccer player,
Yeah.
and how that's what he does. Like
Yeah.
5 minutes before every game, he goes out on the field, visualizes exactly how the game is going to go.
Yeah.
Sounds like that's exactly what you were doing.
Yeah, I mean, like at the end of the day, it's one of those things to say, like, okay, well, if you don't exercise, you can't get fit. You know, like it's just not possible. You know, like so you need to, like in a way, like the fact of visualizing something and like repeating and convincing yourself to have that certainty and safe, like feeling safe that you're gonna achieve something, that you actually already achieve it. It helps. At least it helps for you to be like, okay, I'm working on it. Because the thing is that whatever you dream of, like, you're working on. Like I'm working on, like maybe having this role for a movie, or like I'm working on having a new album, or I'm working on. But are you really working on?
Yeah.
Like that's the question. Of how are you working on? Like, are you just existing and like I don't know, like so then I think the more that you work on preparing yourself to it, mentally but also physically, like in terms of like, okay, well, thinking on the recipes and doing the events, like that is you're working on. But also in the other thing that you cannot control, that is actually really having the stars align where you actually find the right people to do it, because that's important. It's important to find the right people. But anyways, the thing is that I start getting different inquiries for like people that have like loads of money and to like that they were like, oh man, like we want to open a restaurant with you. And I was like, yeah. So I have more than one. I have like around 8 to 10 like proper interviews where they were like, they will ask me to do a tasting for them, and I'll do a tasting, and they will like want to close the deal to invest the money. And but I had to wait until I had the right feeling.
Yes.
So it's one of those things that I like. Imagine that someone's like, okay, I give you $1 million,
And you're like,
but you don't
I don't feel right.
Yeah, but you don't feel it. So I had to have that. And I think that those ones are like also, I think, one of the most difficult decisions of my life.
Yeah.
To be like, okay, I have no money. I don't really have any money to like even to like have like proper meals. I'm running out of like time, and I've been here for a while now, and these people is giving me everything, but I don't feel it.
Yeah.
You know, so you just need to decline. You know, you need to like be like, if you don't feel it, you don't feel it. until I found these guys. Their name are Jake and Marco, and through a common friend, like a friend of mine that I met like 3 years ago, and she was like, "Oh, I like WhatsApp me." And she lives in Berlin, and she's like, "Oh, my brother has a friend that wants to open a restaurant there. I heard you were in London. You want to open yours. You guys want to meet?" And I was like, "Sure." You know, like, come on, like that's like the most casual message. You know, like the other ones were like
Instagram
emails.
message or what?
No, just like WhatsApp. You know, like a friend of mine like from a long time, and I haven't seen in 3 years, and a common friend of her brother. And I was like, and then I met them, and there's these two guys that they were in the music business, making like really cool like music events with DJs around the world, and they wanted to move into restaurants. So like we want to open a restaurant because we've been doing like music for a long time, and I spoke about my concept to them, and they stopped me. Like one of them like it's called Marco. Like Marco stopped me, and after like literally like 4 minutes that I was talking about the concept, and he's like, "I want to stop you right there, and I want to tell you that London needs a place like that. Like it doesn't matter if you want to work with us or not. I want to facilitate and I want to do everything that is possible for this place to exist." And I was like, what is this guy saying? You know, like, and the other guy as well, like the Jake was like I didn't believe it.
Yeah.
I didn't believe it, but they were completely on board.
Yeah.
Like 100,000% on board. And I cook for them. Like they were like, "Oh, where can you cook for us?" I cook for them, and they bring like like everyone else was bringing like these like really strange people to the tastings, and like people that didn't care anything. Like they would be late, and these guys, they bring their moms and their girlfriends and stuff like that, like the family, and they were like, they went out to smoke a cigarette, and they come back and they're like, we decide that we wanna invest in your restaurant, and we probably don't have all the money, but we will work on raising whatever is needed, you know, and where can we start, you know? And I was like, let's do it. You know, like I didn't really have to think about it. I just felt that in that moment that it works, you know, like it's one of those things that when it works, you know. And then we found the site, and it took us a year to get the site, and then we raised money, and we did loads, like we traveled to a few places. We went to Noma to eat together. We went to Mexico, so they can like understand more the concept, you know, and then we opened, you know, like at the end of the day it was it kind of worked like that. I was like, I don't believe this.
Yeah.
Like until we opened, I started to believe that actually it was true, you know.
But
like it's one of those
everything
things.
seemed to be aligning in the right direction.
Yeah.
And you're just like, pinch me and when I wake up, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, like it's one of those things that you work so hard to open to your place. And the interesting thing is that, and I share this with a lot of chefs, that we share the same thing, that like, and we're very successful like people, that you realize when you open, it's not the end, it's just the beginning, in a good way, but also in the other way that you're back to square one.
Yeah.
You're like, all these things that you work on, all this attention, all this press, everything aligns into this moment that you finally open your place. But then what happened next day? You're just a place that opened a while ago. And then what happened? You know, like that's, and then all that you want to do, it's not the same as I was saying, to cook for people at your home, than to inviting, instead of 4 people, inviting 12 people, or inviting 20 people, or inviting 50 people. Suddenly the personal experience in your own home, it dilutes.
Yeah.
And then the fact that what we want to do in the restaurant is to bring that experience and that quality and that thing for everyone.
Yeah.
And also work in innovation. Like we don't want to do the grammar recipe or the traditional recipe with a twist. We want to really go in depth with Mexican flavors and British seasonal wild ingredients. Like the process, it was 1 year before we opened the restaurant when I was already working with my business partners while we got the site, that I was doing recipes and trying recipes for a year. We did 150 recipes, like 18 recipes a week sometimes. We only choose 5.
Wow.
But then those 5 recipes, because it was a 5-course menu when we opened.
Yeah.
those five recipes they're far from what we do now. Like we will not be able to use those dishes anymore. And it's been 3 years and a half that we opened.
Wow.
And the dishes that we did last year we can't use. So it's interesting because it's been an evolution and an understanding that it goes like further and further. And I think the recognition that we had in Vegas, it recognized that it's just this creative thinking in a way that it can be really challenging in so many ways.
Yeah.
Like in terms of training the team, because they have no idea what we're doing. Like no one knows.
Yeah.
Like if I will get a job at KOL, like me 2 years ago as a chef, I'll have no idea about anything. You know, like it's just everything so new for us.
Yeah.
And then everyone needs to get into this like learning curve of like stepping out of like whatever they learn and learn it again with everything that we're doing, you know. So yeah.
So obviously a lot of our listeners, I'd say, actually, you know, you'd be surprised. We have some international listeners as well. But a lot of our listeners are in Los Angeles. They may be planning a trip to London soon or to Europe, you know, but some might not. Can you walk us through what the experience at KOL is like to dine there?
Yeah, so the experience is it's a restaurant that like as I imagined it at the very beginning was I want to make this place that feels like in this like grand Mexican house in probably like the countryside, and with like contemporary, like a little bit of a contemporary design, but keep itself quite minimalistic. So it has this open kitchen with like hand chiseled wood around it, and then the like completely in the middle of the dining room, and then around it, the tables are around this kitchen. And then in the back of the kitchen, you can see this beautiful chimney and comal, where we do the tortillas and all that stuff. And everything happens there. And the brief for the architect and the designer was like, we want this central kitchen to be like an exhibition. So people can really feel the theater and the performance behind creating the menu and the dishes, you know? So it's not like in another room, it's not in the basement, it's not like, it's literally in the middle. You can feel the energy of the chefs that are cooking the food as you will be in the theater. If you're in the theater and the play starts, and then the main actor's like, hello everyone, and then you can feel there's some sort of feeling, the connection with the performers, and that is what.
Okay, sorry to
Oye,
interrupt.
buenísimo, qué buenísimo está todo. Muchas gracias.
So this is our ceviche negro de camarón. It's a Santa Barbara spot prawn, another one of our iconic Southern California ingredients. The tail, the body of the spot prawn is just marinated. It's raw. It's marinated in a salsa negra, or at least our twist on the salsa negra. It's this salsa is made with the roasted heads of spot prawns, and then we press that. We put it through a press, get all the fat and all the juices out of the heads, and then mix that with soy sauce, dry red chiles, olive oil, and lemon juice, and then a little avocado and a garnish of a crispy fried spot prawn head, which is completely edible.
Wow.
You always eat the head. Always eat the head.
Yeah. Always, 100%.
Wow.
Thank you, chef.
It's amazing, chef. Thank you.
Wow, this looks pretty special. I just took
Exactly.
a massive bite of this spot prawn head. I gotta say, I think I would have just heads to snack on if I could. Fried heads in a bag of chips. That would be my dream snack, I think.
Wow. It's amazing as well that you can like squeeze the head and get all the brains into the dish. You can also like take the legs out and then just get all the crispy bits of the head into the ceviche as well. That's gonna be really good.
That's a lot more refined than what I did, dear listener. I just chomped the head straight off.
No, but like the little crispy bits of the head are also really good. It's like a little head crumble, you know?
Yeah.
And
you get like texture in the dish then.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, another.
I don't remember what I was saying, but.
You were talking about the experience at KOL.
Right. Yeah.
You wanted about the theater and how you wanted.
Yeah.
The
So then.
kitchen.
Yes, exactly. So then that is the that is what you feel, and when you're there. And then, well, we have 3 different places. We have the main dining room, and then downstairs we have a like a chef's table, where it's a private dining room that's more inspired in rural Mexico. So it's a lot of concrete and wood on the design. And then in the other side we have the mezcaleria as well downstairs. That is a mezcal bar where people can have drinks before their meal or after their meal, but also they can just show up there and have like really cool like street food and cocktails that are made with different types of agave spirits. So I think we have the widest selection, or the more like most interesting kind of selection of agave spirits probably outside Mexico or there in that part of the world. And then we use those spirits and we blend them with British ingredients. So we have things like bacanora and tequila, raicilla, mezcal, posh, charanda, Mexican whiskey, Mexican gin, Mexican bitters made with different citrus from Yucatan, and just like sotol, like loads. Like if you really want to explore Mexican spirits, is the place to be. And then upstairs we have a tasting menu that now is about 12 courses, 13 courses. And the idea of a tasting menu as well is same. Like I see it as a sort of exhibition, you know, like where we can present to you what we believe is the right thing to present for us at that specific time in the UK, based on different travels and experiences and flavors that I had in Mexico, but also the understanding that we have of British wild nature, that it is incredible, and it's something that it hasn't been, it's a story that hasn't been told as much as well. Like col means cabbage in Spanish, with a C. And the idea is that we want to represent the things that are undervalued. They can be special if you put them in the right context. And the right context is of Mexican food and Mexican culture in London, in Malibu. And also the right context of something undervalued that is British ingredients and British nature and seasonality. That is something super interesting. So then we change the menu every season, and the dishes have some sort of name of the concept and of the dish, of the Mexican dish. Like it will be probably a ceviche or a tostada or a tamal, etc. And then we blend the concept and the flavors with the traditional, with the wild ingredients and wild nature from the UK. So I can give you a few examples if you want.
I would love an example.
So I mean, like our signature dish is a taco that is made with langoustines. The langoustines are from Scotland, and what we do is to roast them with garlic and smoked chilies, fermented cabbage like sauerkraut, and then tortillas that are made with sourdough bread and duck fat. So it's like a duck fat and sourdough, like really, really thin flat bread. And then we finish it with a reduction of sea buckthorn berries. The sea buckthorn berries are these sour berries that grow in the coast in England, that they have 1,000 times more vitamin C than orange juice. Yeah. So they're like incredibly high in antioxidants and healthy. And we put like we make a reduction with that tastes like tamarind. And then we have the heads that we grill in the barbecue and compress with the fresh juice of the berries as well. And then the idea is that you squeeze the head onto your taco as it would be a lime, you know. Yeah. So and that's a dish that is inspired in Baja California. So there they do this. There's a place called Puerto Morelos, where they do. It's a place called Puerto Nuevo, and it's what they do is they literally take in the beach a big wok or a big like pot of pork fat, lardo.
The best.
And they cut lobsters in half and cook them in the fat. Wow. In the side of the shell, and then they crisp the inside of the lobster a little bit. And then they make fresh flour tortillas, also there in the comal in the beach, and some rice and beans and like some salsa. Wow. And you do your own kind of wrap. And that's kind of like inspiration, but using ingredients from Scotland So that's one of the dishes that we have.
That's so cool.
In the
Honestly,
menu at the moment.
I'll be right back. I'm just booking a trip to Puerto Nuevo real quick because that just sounded absolutely great. Right after I book my trip to London, of course, because really cool to see how these dishes come together, how the inspiration comes together, and I assume a lot of this like came together too from your travels and your research and coming across things. Obviously, since opening, your restaurant has achieved incredible success, like Michelin star, world's 50 best. I always wonder when a restaurant achieves those kinds of goals. This is probably going to be an incredibly stupid question, but is it something that you set out to achieve when you opened the restaurant, or is it just something that happily, accidentally happens?
I think it's interesting because at the end of the day, and I spoke with a few chefs as well that they have restaurants that they have those kind of success or more, and I think it's something as well that is shared with other professions as well, like in I don't know, like fashion, film, art. We just want to make something good, you know. Like the only thing that you want is like you want to make something good, make people have a good time. It's the only thing that you want, but it depends in two things, like what something good means to you, you know. So what something good means to George Lucas. And that is something that it gets blended with how much the people behind these other people believe that they can achieve. You know, so it needs to be these two things together, that they need to be aligned. Yeah. If you work in Lucasfilm, how far you think you can go? Yeah. You know, and I think it's also like to create an environment, and that is kind of my job, like to create an environment where people believe that they can go far, you know, because if your meaning of something good it's less than other people, you're gonna make something less good. Mm-hmm. But then in the eyes of other people, in your eyes, it's just gonna be good. Yeah. You know, so that's the thing, like, and that is kind of like a curse as well, because if your expectations of what is good is really high, it's so hard to make. Yeah. You know, but then at the end, that is what it gives you some sort of sense of achievement. It's not the awards, it's not really like any source of recognition. One of the most difficult things as a chef is to understand what is good. Yeah. Because, you know, there's so many restaurants, there's so many things that everyone does. Like, how can you tell that what you do is good? It's almost impossible. And for me, it's been a quest that I still have. And it's not about what is good. For me, it's about like, or what is bad, and try to stay away from it as much as possible. You know, and like try to recognize and have this understanding of this, of like, that's not the right path. Yeah, that's not the right path. For us, it's not the right path to use the ingredients from abroad. Yeah, it's the right path. Like, you know, like, so then slowly you taking things out of ideas or just the concept in general, and you can slowly get into a point where you're really close to what is good for you. That for other people can be wrong, and that's what you get exposed as well when you work in a creative restaurant, that you can't please everyone. Yeah. But at least I think one of the most amazing things, and what I told to my team yesterday, is that we need to keep true to ourselves, you know, to evolve, you know, and that's.
It's such an interesting point, because like, you bring up like this notion that food is so highly subjective in general. Yeah. One person's good is another person's complete shit, honestly, sometimes, and vice versa. Yeah. And I think, like, for example, like even with something like the world's 50 best, you know, you have the list come out, and then you hear a lot of chatter about, do these places deserve to be on there? Are they too high? Are they too low? What places were left off and all that stuff? Yeah. How does that kind of chatter affect you as a chef, someone who cares so much about what you do?
I think it's something that you choose to do when you start doing things that they haven't been done. You're exposed to expectations and criticism from everyone, like not only the press but also people in general. So, but then you just need to just separate yourself from that, and then understand that what you do is not what you are. You know, like what you are as a human and what you do and what your team does. Like, I think the most important thing is just to keep true to yourself and and to the concept, and to have be humble enough to understand that, as you said, food is something that it's is one of those things that it's broad, the perception that people have and the taste that people have.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think these restaurants that are in the list, and I know pretty much all of them, they do share something that they care so much of what they do,
Yeah.
and in what they do, they're the best.
Yeah.
So Echevarri, they grill, and they grill the best. You know, like and Diverso, like he puts crazy insane combinations of flavors together, and they do that best. And Alchemist use technology in their food, and in the ambience and everything, and they do that best. So then at the end of the day, it could be more, it could be less, but the people that are in there, they do an incredibly remarkable job in their own fields, you know.
Yeah. That's very interesting. Look, Chef, you've been extremely generous with your time.
Thank you.
It's been a complete honor to speak with you. Real pleasure to have lunch with you, honestly. Last thing I wanted to ask you is, have your mom and your brother been to your restaurant?
Yes, yeah. So my brother actually, he's been helping me. He's in the kitchen right now, actually, helping prepping. And he moved to London to help me open the restaurant. And the moment that I made the deal, I sealed the deal with my business partners, my mom told me, actually, like, I think your brother wants to move to London with you. Why you don't ask him? And I asked him, he left everything. And he's been like, his name is Eduardo, and he's been incredibly helpful. Like, he keeps me sane, and like he allows me not to lose my mind, and also makes things happen in a way that no one could do. Like, he's an industrial engineer, and he's super smart, and I'm really thankful with him. And he's still helping us to this time. And my mom went to the restaurant for the first time. We opened the restaurant during COVID, so she couldn't come. And she went to the restaurant for the first time, I think, in end of 2021, when people were allowed to travel again, and we had the whole team of the restaurant waiting for her, because her reservation was like we opened reservation at 6, well now 5:45, but we asked her to come like 50 minutes earlier than all the guests. So when she arrived, we put all the team, there was like 50 people, in the door to greet her. And like everyone was clapping, and she was just crying, and then she sit down in the restaurant, and then she's just having full meal, and yeah, my brother had to like stop her to cry like in between courses. She was just so much emotion, and she's really proud, and yeah, so she's been a few times in the restaurant now, and yeah, so they are happy. They're happy.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You're still making them happy after all these years, man.
Yeah. I think what you have to do, like, you just need to make your parents proud. You know, like that's what you have. As I feel that's what you own them. They bring you to this world and like give you food and shelter for like whatever time it is, and unconditionally. I think make them proud. It's a big achievement, and I think is the first thing. Then you can grow from there, you know. Yeah. So it's important.
Well, on that note, I'd like to apologize to my parents for making a podcast.
I'm sure they're proud as well.
In their own way. Chef, thank you so much, man. Where can people find you and call if they're looking for you online? Yeah, so we have our Instagram account. So mine is at Santiago Lastra, and then Cole's Instagram account is at Cole.restaurant. Yeah. So that's the one. We'll put it all in the show notes. Enjoy the rest of your time in Los Angeles. Chef.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure, and I mean, like, I just cannot wait already to come back. It's I feel like strong connection. Like, I don't know, we talk about feelings. I feel like LA is the place that I need to come back more often. So I'm sure I'll see you more. Hey, I'm just excited for you to open a restaurant where you're cooking Mexican food with LA ingredients, you know? Probably, you know, who knows what will come. Let's see. Hopefully one day.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the LA Food Podcast. Wow, thank you so much to Chef Santiago Lastra for making time to come dine with me during his rather short stay in Los Angeles. And of course, thank you to the legendary chef Gilberto Cetina at Holbox. Wow, what hospitality, what food. Guys, if you have not been to Holbox yet, what the hell are you doing? Pardon my French. It's seriously like a true treat that we even have that in Los Angeles. I highly recommend going for their omakase, but of course, even if you just stop in for one of their tacos, you could do a hell of a lot worse. If you like what you heard here today, dear listener, please go to wherever you listen to podcasts, leave us a rating, review, subscribe. All that stuff really helps us make our way up the charts. You can also find us on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, and YouTube at the LA Countdown. That's TheLaCountdown. You can also find us on Instagram at LA Food Pod. That's LAFOODPOD. You can also find us at thelacountdown.com. And now you can even subscribe to our Substack newsletter, and you can also find that on thelacountdown.com.